Social Justice Goblin, welcome to the backyard. So, AEW Dark. So, this is the third episode of AEW Dark. It was set in Philly, and instead of having Jim Ross on commentary, it had Taz, because Taz, it's Philadelphia, Taz, stuff like that. And honestly, I prefer Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone than... I think I had Tony Schiavone. No, it was Excalibur and Taz. I wasn't, ecstatic about the announcement team. It kind of made Dark not as good. I was really disappointed with this one. I mean, the main event was good, and I'll get more into it as I review further, but the first match was Joey Janela versus Brandon Cutler. Now, I like Brandon Cutler. I'm not a big Joey Janela fan, but I love Brandon Cutler. I mean, Brandon Cutler is kind of that guy that left wrestling like I did to go raise a family, but now, he broke into the business with the Young Guns, blah, 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 blah. We all know he got the job because he's friends with the Young Guns, but I mean, he's a half-decent wrestler. He needs, if he was in the WWE, he would need some time in the Performance Center. But Joey Janela, I mean, he was doing the finger-pointing and all the Kenny Omega stuff. And enough with the tongues, guys. I'm getting tired of seeing tongues everywhere. But seriously, Joey, if I wanted to see Kenny Omega, you poor man's Kenny Omega, I'd watch friggin' Kenny Omega instead of the poor man's Kenny Omega that you are, Joey. Joey was just, his tights, instead of having his tights high to cover up the fact that he has a stomach, he's not fat by any stretch of the imagination. I know Cornette does. He had his tights down low, and I'm like, pull your tights up to cover the little gap of fat, as a fat person, these are things so that you don't look so ridiculous. The match was just terrible. This is the type of match that the WWE would never have. They would put either of these guys up against someone that can hold a good match, because the problem was neither of them are capable of the dance, of leading the dance and leading the match, and it showed. It was okay. My big complaint about Brandon Cutler is he needs to work on his muscles. He's starting to get a good physique, and I think he has the potential to have a nice physique, and he looks good. I like Brandon Cutler. Okay, so then it was a bunch of promos and other stuff that I don't care about. The standard stuff. They selling acts. The next match was Nyla Rose versus the Librarian, the female Librarian. I forget what her name is. It's irrelevant to the point. Okay, so the female Librarian. The Librarians come out. The guy just gets heat, but the problem is he's doing cheap heat. So cheap heat is, making fun of the home team, making fun of the local people, things that automatically are going to get you booed. The problem with cheap heat is it doesn't last. So he's getting all this cheap heat, but by the time the match starts, he's throwing books and cheating and doing all that. The crowd's kind of like, okay, there's no booing. But when they were doing the little cheap heat thing, it was a lot of booing. The match, Nyla Rose is a beast. I love Nyla Rose. I'm waiting for the Awesome Kong versus Nyla Rose match. And I love Nyla Rose. I love Nyla Rose even if she sucked in the ring, which she doesn't. She's really good. I would love Nyla Rose because she's trans. Being trans, I'm going to support my fellow trans sister, and it makes me feel included. In her story and her struggle and all the crap she has to put up with, and because guess what? I have to put up with that crap too. So it was a squash match. The Librarian does a run towards her, and it's just bounce off. Nyla Rose throws her out of the ring. Standard stuff. It was basically a little offense from the Librarian, and then just pure squash. As far as entertainment goes, not a great match, but I mean, it was good to see Nyla Rose just dominate the crap out of this woman. And I mean, and you know, y'all complain about Marco Short, you Mr. Cornette, you and Corny there complaining up and down about Marco's stunt, but the reality is, the Librarian against Nyla Rose was ridiculous. I mean, it was just like the size was just no. Nyla Rose is just gonna dominate her. Like I said, I can't wait till the Awesome Kong versus Nyla Rose match comes out. And a bunch of things, the Dark Order or whatever the hell they are, but an S&M match gone bad. Then it ends with a 4-way with Cody Rhodes, Dustin Rhodes, the Young Bucks versus some Japanese team, the Hot something, I forget. I have it written down somewhere and I don't have my notes, and Private Party fighting it out. So, you know, I'm like, whoa, for the main event, we're getting the Rhodes. Awesome! And the Young Bucks. This could have been a main event. This could have been a big one on AEW. And you kind of get a main event every Dark episode. Because last week it was Kenny Omega and Joey Janelli in a unsanctioned match, you know, which means there's lots of chairs and it was really bad because Joey Janelli can't wrestle. I'm sorry, Joey Janelli cannot wrestle. All right, so it was a great match. I mean, it was great. Too many high spots. There were like points where I'm like, pin him, and enough with the dives from the ring. I mean, even friggin' Brandy did a dive. I mean, okay, guys, the dive is cool. It doesn't mean you have to do 30 of them in a show. But that's my review of AEW Dark. It was good. I was disappointed. But the main event was good. Too many high spots, but it was good. And I'm in absolute love with Dustin Rhodes, and I got to go back to work.